We are the ones who live here.
نحن يلي عايشين هون.
And we are proud to share with you these stories of life in Lebanon.
When I was young, I saw Lebanon as vibrant and vast, a safe land that was full of adventure. I saw my mother, Georgette, as the sun radiating warmth and light. Her heart was like a river that never runs dry. I loved her, and I loved Lebanon, my mother country. I was her only child, and she showered me with love. She cheered me on, she nurtured me, and she always told me how she felt about me. From the day I got my first phone, she'd send me voice notes like,
هيك أنا عم بشتاق لك تقبضني يا ماما مش عم شوفك.
It's just, I miss you. I'm not seeing you. I go to kiss you and I don't have the heart to do so because you're sleeping comfortably or I might scare you. Then I just touch you softly. You're my life. I hope that when you come, I'm still awake. I want to hug you so much and kiss you. I love you so, so much.
In 2019, my mother's health took a sudden turn. Just as Lebanon suddenly spun out into that familiar litany of calamities that have afflicted our country over the last several years, she was suddenly in a lot of pain. They tried surgery 3 times to address it, and it didn't lessen the pain. It just put her through the additional ordeal of the surgery and the added pain from the new wounds they left behind. And while she was in the hospital, our economy crashed. My parents both worked in a bank in our city of Byblos, just north of Beirut. My father Raymond was a manager at the bank, and he said that no one that he knew had any idea that our Lebanese pound would suddenly fall from 1,500 for each American dollar to 15,000 in just 9 months. Inflation took off. The banks had to freeze everyone's accounts. Thousands of people were abruptly laid off as their companies cut back or went belly up. If you were still employed and paid in foreign currency, you might be okay. If you were paid in Lebanese pounds, you were suddenly broke. And during her 3rd and final surgery, they did a biopsy and they found cancer. The pain got worse and she began chemotherapy, which made her very sick sometimes. My father poured himself into her care, and he poured much of his remaining money, which was dwindling in value, into providing her with the best medical care and ordering medicines from Europe. The bank where they worked needed to do layoffs, and they offered people small incentives if they'd retire early. My father accepted this, on the one condition that they would keep my mother on, so she could still have a normal life as she fought her illness. On top of the psychological strain of managing my mother's care and facing her disease, there was the added financial strain during a time of national freefall. And his own health was poor. He's diabetic, and he has heart disease and kidney problems. It was a very heavy load for a 62-year-old man. He says that all that time, the strain made him feel like he was a ball of live wires. He was committed to getting her the best care, so we switched to a doctor in Beirut, whose office was directly across the highway from the port. On August 4th, 2020, she had an appointment to receive chemo, but right before they got in the car, the doctor's office called and said they had to reschedule because he'd been called into surgery. It's just 40 kilometers from Byblos to Beirut, but it can take an hour and a half in traffic. And they would have been stuck on the street, right beside the port, when it all blew up. They would have died in the devastation. They took it as a sign from God that they'd been saved. But being saved in Lebanon just means you'll be around for the next calamity. The port of Beirut, our one major international port, the most vital economic link we had to the rest of the world, was suddenly gone, which caused additional economic shocks. Her health worsened, and then COVID got worse, and both of my parents were immune suppressed. 2021 and 2022 were a frantic, anxious blur. But she kept working to cheer me up, when she was suffering. There were moments when she seemed to be doing better, when the country seemed to be doing better, but in September 2023, her remaining strength collapsed. Things collapse quickly here. This is Lebanon. Her liver failed, and she turned yellow. That last night in the hospital, I stayed up all night by her side. On the morning of October 1st, she died. I think about her every day, every hour, especially when I'm sitting with my dad. I think about her because I take care of my dad thanks to my mom. In the last weeks before she died, she was very weak physically, but not her will. She taught me how to take care of him, how to cook for him, how to clean the house, how to help him with his medicine. And I do it. I do everything she taught me. I don't always do it perfectly, but I try my best, because she asked me to do it and she showed me how. When the moment came, when she realized she truly was dying, she brought us together and said, "Dear husband, Elias is in your hands now. Dear son, take care of your father." And so that is what we are doing. She just kept living her life until the end. I am trying to learn that from her, and I'm doing my best, so I can let her spirit rest, so I can build a future for myself, and so I can give my father the care he deserves. He has always put the life of his wife and son before his own, and I just want him to be able to rest and to enjoy a bit of his life. He's 67 years old now, and he had to get another job last year out of financial necessity. He's been working for 45 years, and he's sick, and there's no realistic way for him to retire. And there's just the two of us now. I go to classes, I go to my jobs, I try to see my girlfriend, I do theater, and I live with my father. And I cook for him, I clean, and I help him with his medicine. As I was working on this story, I realized that many of my memories of this stressful period were hazy, and that I might have missed some important things because I was focused on myself in that moment, or maybe I was overwhelmed. So I asked my father if I could interview him to help me fill in the gaps. At one point, about an hour in, I asked him if he ever dreamt of my mother after she died.
Yes, sure.
Ja, was soll ich dann check out?
عم بيسألك أي متى إنه إذا شي مرة ظهرت بحلمك.
اليوم هلا بعد الظهر انا ونايم رح نبين ما تجي. والله استقبلت جان خيا ومرت خيا وقالت لي ليش مش عم تفتح لهم الباب.
دام لحظة، هي عم تقلكن ولا
فاتت قالت لي ليش مش عم تفتح الباب؟ قلت لها لمين؟ قالت لي جان وأليس مرة.
God.
He said he took a nap one afternoon and found himself in a dream, sitting alone in a chair in the living room. My mother walked in and asked him why he hadn't answered the door. He said, "For who?" She said, "My brother and his wife are outside." And he was astonished because there'd been no knock on the door and no ringing of the bell. He went to the door and opened it, and they were there. They came inside, and my parents and my aunt and uncle sat down in the living room, and that was it. He woke up, and he was alone again. I was shocked when he told me this. Not because of anything in that dream, just that he'd never told me about it before, and that he was telling me about it now. I realized that we'd never really talked much about any of this before, even though there were just the two of us left in this house. I asked him how he'd felt when he woke up from that dream, and he said, stressed. I think it was because her brief reappearance only underlined for him how much she was gone. For me, every day over the past 2 years has been surreal. It's been absurd because she's gone. Nothing makes sense as it used to. As if the meaning of the world secretly rested on the shoulders of this quiet and humble woman, and now everything buckles and breaks and spins apart. She died on the first day of October 2023, just 1 week before Israeli forces began their bombing campaigns against Lebanon. And on the first anniversary of her death, when we held a holy mass to pray over her soul, as is the custom for us Christians, Israeli ground troops invaded our southern lands. It was as if the personal cataclysm of her death found its aftershocks in the cataclysm of war. To this day, my grief at both remain intertwined. Mama, I say to her now, I miss you every day. The one and only grace in any of this is that you did not have to see what's been done to your country. You didn't have to live through the daily strikes and the endless fear. You didn't have to worry every minute about us and if we were safe. You used to tell me when I was a kid, Beirut has been destroyed 7 times and always rose again. Since you passed, it's been destroyed 100 times over, and I put my faith in your words that we will rise again. At the very least, I know that what brings the Lebanese people together is not our victories, it's our defeats, and in that, I find a seed of hope. Maybe Lebanon will be okay if we all take care of each other, like she instructed my father and me to take care for one another. And maybe this motherly advice is what will help us rise again. I think about why I'd ask my father if he dreams about her. It's because I dream about her all the time. I keep having this dream in which there's a knock at the door, and it's her, smiling at me. She walks in and goes straight to her chair in the kitchen, the one where she used to sit and drink her coffee. I quickly make coffee for her, just like I used to. And I see that she looks young, beautiful, and radiant, just like the photos from her wedding day. She is shiny, like the star she always was, and I can't believe my eyes. I started shouting, "Hallelujah, hallelujah, she has risen!" And I jump and scream with joy. She just sits there smiling and smirking as if she knew all along exactly what she was doing, as if all of this was part of some grand plan. I always wake up from that dream, crying and happy, warm from her presence, like everything will be okay and Lebanon will be okay again. We keep dreaming this dream, and we keep waking up in tears, and we keep having to live the lives we have to live.
The translation of Elias's mother's voice note was read by Clara Fahd. We Are the Ones Who Live Here was produced by Ben Murad and me, Farah Khatib. Our associate producer is Lien Jaradi. Our editorial team includes Rita Mhanno, Rana Baghdadi, Elias Demerdjian, Maya Adra, Nesreen Azizi, Jennifer Nasrallah, and Leticia Harib. Our sound producer is Wilson Vediner. Our music was made by Rafi Bghali, aka Tsatsa. We want to thank our Season 2 hero, Aisha Ghazzoul, and our Season 2 sponsors, Stephanie Bar and Michelle Murad, for their exceptional support. We couldn't have done this without you. This podcast was also made possible with the support of the Center for American Studies and Research, KZAR, at the American University of Beirut. We want to hear your stories of life in Lebanon, or just what you think of the show. Reach out to us on Instagram at WeLebanonPod. You can also email us at WeLebanonPod@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. Okay. We Are the Ones Who Live Here. Intros, Season 2, Take 1.